All right, I just recently gave my spoiler-free review for Tailored Realities, Brandon Sanderson's newest publication from 2025. If you'd like to check out that spoiler-free review, feel free to. But this video is going to be a short story by short story rating review for each of the short stories in Tailored Realities. There are 10, and they range from 5 stars to 2.9 stars. Let's get into it. My favorite short story from this collection is Firstborn. I absolutely loved it. I consider it a 5-star read for a short story. I'm always a little bit nervous about giving the 5-star category to a short story because it's inherently short, but also I'm tired of saying that they can't have excellent ratings when they're excellent. And honestly, I would not change a single word in Firstborn. It was perfect. It was exactly what I didn't know that I wanted, and I absolutely enjoyed reading it. It reminded me of a book that I absolutely loved that's in a series where they are 5 stars as well as a single 6-star read. I'm not going to say the name of that book because if you want to go into these short stories completely blind, then I want you to have the opportunity to do that. If you want to Google what Firstborn is based off of, go for it. It's definitely going to be listed online. But I genuinely found it so enriching. I loved that it reminded me of a book that I absolutely adore. And yeah, I didn't feel like the short story was too short or too long. I didn't leave it feeling like I wanted more. I felt like I had exactly what I wanted from that short story. 5 stars. Firstborn is my favorite from Brandon Sanderson's Tailored Realities. Number 2 would be Defending Elysium. I gave this a solid 4.5 stars. It honestly made me really excited about the Skyward series, which I have not read yet. I do own all the books. I will read them eventually. Reading this short story did not feel like a spoiler for the Skyward series at all, but it did make that series seem really interesting. I was curious about the characters. I loved the magic element that came across in that story. So definitely a 4.5-star read. Made me really excited about reading this other series of Brandon Sanderson, even though that series is outside of the Cosmere. So that was really exciting. Liked that one. Third place is Perfect State. I loved this short story so much. For a while there, it was number 1. It was so much fun. I absolutely loved Perfect State. I think the only reason why I rank it lower than Defending Elysium is because I left Perfect State going, tell me more of the story. I want the rest of the story because it was so good. It was so fun. It ended great. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. But genuinely, I would read a whole book based on the premise of Perfect State. I would like 100% read that book. And I don't think there is one. So that's the only reason why it gets third place. I love that Defending Elysium actually does have a series that's written in that same universe and it falls into that. So I left that wanting more, and there is more. Perfect State doesn't have more as far as I know, and I want more because it was so good. 4.5 stars. Loved Perfect State. That's my third. In fourth place is Moment Zero, which is the longest short story in Tailored Realities. I thought Moment Zero was a lot of fun. I thought it was really interesting. I wasn't expecting a short story to be that long. And I'm not sure if I was actually ready for a short story that was going to be that long. I was really ready for shorter short stories. So that's a personal moment, emotional impact to reading this story, which is why I'm giving it 4 stars. But I do want to be honest that that's just because I personally was really looking forward to shorter short stories. The fact that this one was around 150 pages approximately is actually really cool, but was longer than I think I was actually looking for from this book. So that's why it's in 4th place. But honestly, it was really interesting. I really liked the characters, and I loved the way that Brandon Sanderson worked with relationships in this one. It was very unique, and I thought it was really interesting. I also loved that Tailored Realities ended with Moment Zero and started with Snapshot. Snapshot I would put in 5th place, another 4-star read. I love Snapshot when I read it. The only thing I said at the end of reading Snapshot to myself was, I wish I had more. And honestly, Moment Zero kind of felt like I was getting more of some of what was in Snapshot. Not the exact same. I mean, it's very different, but also, I don't know, there was something that reminded me of it. I loved that the book started with Snapshot and ended with Moment Zero. That felt perfect. Both are 4-star ratings, but that's why I would put Snapshot in 5th place, just because it's a little shorter than Moment Zero, and I left it wanting more, and Moment Zero is what gave me more. So Snapshot was genuinely phenomenal. For the last 4-star ranking, I would put in 6th position Dreamer. This was such a good short story and shocking, and wow, was not expecting the ending. It was, I don't want to spoil it for you, but I will say, that was what an ending. So that was an incredible 4-star short story. The only reason why I wouldn't rank it higher is I would love more, and I don't think there is any more. But whoa, that was a really good short story. So that's in 6th place, and that finishes off the short stories that I ranked 4 stars and up. The next short story that I would rank at 3.9 stars, so very close, is Mitosis. Mitosis is I'm negatively impacted by the short story because it really, really, really should have started with a spoiler warning. I really wish Brandon Sanderson had included that. I started reading it and I was like, oh no, I might be getting spoiled for the Reckoner series. And as I read through the short story, I was like, oh, I'm definitely getting massively spoiled for the Reckoner series. I checked online. I think I was only spoiled for book 1, I hope, based upon the original publication of Mitosis. but not ideal. I haven't read The Reckoners. I do own them and I will read them. Luckily, it'll be about 2 years or a little bit more before that is going to show up on my immediate read list. So I have some time to forget about the events in Mitosis because definite spoilers. So if you want to read The Reckoners at some point, just be aware of that for Mitosis if you read Tailored Realities beforehand. You may want to skip Mitosis. In 8th place is I Hate Dragons. This is also another 3.9 stars. I loved it. I thought it was super fun. I just thought the concept of it was funny and hilarious. It's very simple, but it's enjoyable. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just short and simple and fun. And it's 3.9 stars and I liked it. So I Hate Dragons was fun. That was a good one. All right. The last two in 9th and 10th place were less enjoyable personally. In 9th place is Probability Approaching Zero. This is the shortest short story in Tailored Realities. It is like 2 pages long for the short story itself, and then it has 1 page for follow-up comments by the author, Brandon Sanderson. And I will say, I didn't really understand the ending of it as a short story. The annotation afterwards clarified what something meant, and that was really helpful. And so that's why it's a solid 3.5 stars, and I feel like I got out of that what I needed to, but I needed the annotation to explain, whereas ideally the story itself would give me enough info for me to get it. But for whatever reason, I did not understand it the first time fully. Like I followed it, but not fully. So it was a little, but it was also like only 2 pages. So like, no hate, that's fine. The lowest ranking short story in Tailored Realities would be Brain Drain, and that I gave 2.9 stars. I never thought I would give a ranking that low for a Brandon Sanderson publication, but honestly, I didn't get it. I mean, I understood the premise of the short story, but I didn't understand the ending, and the annotation didn't really help. I feel like there's 2 possibilities for what the ending meant, and I didn't really understand which one we were actually saying happened. I don't know if I liked either one of those possibilities either. It's a pretty short story. It's not long, so it doesn't have a big bearing on the overall star rating for Tailored Realities. But I will say it is under 3 stars because I just didn't get it. I mean, again, an interesting premise, but even for that one, I was like, I don't even know if I want to be in this world for very long. And luckily the short story wasn't very long, so I didn't have to be. But that's why I'd probably rank it pretty low. So there's that. So as you can tell, I had quite a bit of fun with this book with 6 out of the 10 short stories ranking at 4 stars or higher. I absolutely ate up those stories and had so much fun. This has definitely gotten me really excited about Brandon Sanderson's series that aren't in the Cosmere, which is really interesting. I do own the Skyward series. I do own the Reckoners, but I wasn't super just driven to read them. I was like, I'll get to them eventually at some point. And this made me more interested in reading them. So props to that for this book. I overall really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. And I am happy to include this on my bookshelf as one of my Brandon Sandersons. Next up, as I mentioned in my previous video, is the one and only Project Hail Mary. I am so ready and excited for this book. So keep an eye out for a book review. It should be coming soon your way. Keep reading what you love, and I will see you next time.